During his missionary travels, Ammon preached extensively to the people of King Lamoni, having first offered to be the king's servant. However, after Ammon saved the king's flocks from would-be assailants, King Lamoni believed him to be more than just a human. When Lamoni heard of Ammon's great power in contending against those who sought to slay him, he was astonished exceedingly and said, "Surely this is more than a man. Behold, is not this the great spirit who doth send such great punishments upon this people because of their murders?" Lamoni's servants likewise shared this belief, stating, "Whether he be the great spirit or a man, we know not. But on account of his great strength," they added, "we do not believe that a man has such great power, for we know he cannot be slain." Soon thereafter, one of the king's servants said unto Ammon, "Rabbana," which is being interpreted, powerful or great king. Central to Lamanite belief appears to be a view that the Great Spirit acted as a divine warrior on behalf of the people, as well as the cosmos as a whole. This belief can be traced to the Old Testament, which used language that attributed to Jehovah the characteristics of a divine warrior who comes from heaven to fight battles on behalf of his covenant people. This belief helps explain the Ammon story, since it was, after all, Ammon's initial battle and victory that led the Lamanites to believe that Ammon was an embodied god, and frequent mention is made of his great power or great strength. Furthermore, Lamoni states the Great Spirit had come to preserve his servants' lives. Other Lamanites later stated that the Great Spirit had destroyed so many of their brethren in defending the Nephites rather than the Lamanites. Such views of God fighting in active defense of his covenant people are typical of the divine warrior motif. Because of the Lamanite emphasis on God's activities as a divine warrior, which necessarily implied power in war, Matthew L. Bowen observes that Ammon's fighting skills made him the ideal, if not the perfect missionary for these people at this time. Ammon also noticed this and viewed gathering Lamoni's flocks as an opportunity to, quote, "show forth my power unto these my fellow servants, or the power which is in me, that I may win the hearts of these my fellow servants, that I may lead them to believe in my words." Rather than confirm the belief that he was divine, however, Ammon recognizes this as the perfect opportunity to explain the power of Christ. As such, he asks Lamoni, "Wilt thou hearken unto my words if I tell thee by what power I do these things?" Ammon then goes on to show that Jesus Christ was the ultimate source of his power, and that Jesus Christ ultimately has the power needed to save and deliver all people. As Ammon taught, Lamoni believed all the words Ammon spoke and prayed for a remission of his sins. Significantly, the power of God continued to play an important role throughout the rest of Ammon's mission, but in a new way. Rather than describing God as powerful in warfare, the Lamanites began to recognize more clearly God's power to save from sin and death. Lamoni was described as being under the power of God when having a heavenly vision, and Lamoni's wife recognized Ammon as having power not to be victorious in warfare, but to do many mighty works in his name. As Bowen noted, Ammon had been honored by the Lamanites from a doctrinally incomplete perspective as Rabbana. Christ's power in Ammon as a warrior had garnered their attention, but it was the power of Christ's love in Ammon for Lamoni and all the Lamanites that turned them to Jesus as the true Rabbana. Because of his careful ministry, Ammon was able to bring many to the gospel of Jesus Christ, and they were firm in the faith of Christ, even unto the end. If you'd like to read the full No I article, click on the link in the description below.